Hey, what's up guys? My name is Asher. Welcome to Tank's Life. And today I'm going to be setting up a shrimp tank for my shrimp breeding. And I'm going to be showing you guys how I set up my shrimp tanks and how I keep shrimp and practically everything about shrimp in this video. So that's why I'm going to be setting this tank up. So let's get into the video. Also guys, I know some of you guys know a lot about freshwater shrimp. And if any of you guys know any good shrimp, any cool colors that I should try, type it down in the comments. I really want to know your guys' thoughts are. I was thinking something like not like the basics, like like the yellows or like the cherries, anything like that. The blues, those are all very common. I want to try something more rare, something more exotic, something that's cooler. That's not so like you go at Petco and you find them at Petco. Like something that's more rare. You guys drop down in the comments what shrimp I should get. So, like I said, let's actually set up the tank. Enough talking. Let's get into it. Right now, I have this little small 3-gallon with just some chocolate shrimp or King Kong shrimp, whatever you want to call it. And they're breeding really good. And I want to set up another tank specifically for something more rare, something that I can get more money from if I sell. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Before I do that, I just want to tell you guys what food I use to feed my shrimp. I love this brand. Here, let me see if I can focus. It's practically like an algae wafer, but instead of it just being algae, it has meats, shrimp. It has 35% sword prawn. It's packed full of really good stuff. So I love this food, and so do my shrimp and my snails. And I do have a Mexican dwarf crawfish in here. He also loves that too, but that's not the only thing I feed my shrimp. I also like to feed them small mysis shrimp because I have saltwater tanks. I like to feed them some of that. They like it because it's meatier foods instead of just vegetables. I like to feed them strawberries, sometimes carrots, or like cucumber, like stuff like that. I sometimes like to feed them treats, but that's not too often. But this is a really good food. There's a lot other ones on YouTube. Like powdered foods and stuff. I personally like this one because it's clean. I just drop in there, boom, done. They clear in about 30 minutes. So that's why I like to use that food. But yeah, guys, let's actually get setting up the tank itself. I pretty much have everything I need. It is not that complicating. You can use fake decorations. You can use a lot of decorations such as plants, driftwood. You can just use some random stuff you found at Walmart, Petco, PetSmart, Amazon, fake plants. I do recommend live plants because it adds biofilm and other things that the shrimp like to eat, like algae and stuff. So that's why shrimp are one of the top clam crews of all time, because they have the ability to have your tank so clean. The easiest thing to breed, in my opinion, you pack 3 shrimp in here, month later you got 20. It's that simple. Keeping shrimp is so easy. It is definitely a beginner tank inhabitant, because it's so hardy. It can pretty much adjust like most temperatures from like 60 to 80 degrees, and it can survive like bad water, clean water. They're like one of the easiest animals. Like I've had like fish in bigger tanks. And I had like some like ammonia get into the tank, killed all my fish. All the shrimp survived. Even my snails died. So it's really, shrimp are that simple. As long as you have the right stuff and patience, you'll get them to breed. It's not as hard as for fish to breed fish. Fish is a lot more complicating and a lot harder. And I don't have that skill, so I cannot breed fish. The top plants I would recommend for shrimp tanks, practically just freshwater tanks in general. Java moss, Java ferns, Anubias plants. Practically anything cheap is probably easy. Most of those plants grow like a weed though, but they're all hardy and easy plants to keep in freshwater tanks. That's why I recommend them so much. So that's something I would look into. I'm not the freshwater hobbyist that is crazy in plants, so I don't know every species and every type. That's probably good, so you could probably watch so much of this video. I don't really know much about freshwater plants, but I do know that Java moss and Java ferns are what I use in my tank, and it works really good. The shrimp love it. I can keep it. It's a hardy plant, so that's why I like it. This is a 3-gallon tank, and I like nanos for shrimp breeding just because it's easier to actually breed and catch a shrimp. Instead of having like a 10-gallon, 5-gallon, even bigger where it's harder to actually breed the shrimp and catch them. Otherwise, like a 1 gallon, I can get a few shrimp out of it, scoop them out, sell them. It's a lot easier and less maintenance. So we're setting it up. Since I already have the tank in the light, the only thing I'm really gonna need is filter, water, and substrate, and maybe decor. But luckily for me, I build driftwood. So like this piece right here, I built and cut, and has turned like a darkish brown. It used to be like this. This one's new. It'll darken up. But I built this log so I can put plants and caves and hiding spots. And I can kind of build it to size. So I'm going to take this one and the plants that are in it and put it in this tank. And this substrate I got from Amazon. This is a substrate that I use for my shrimp. It helps buffer the water in like KH and GH. So I really like that. And pH also. But I really like this. So it's practically like little dirt balls. And it's really cool. Alright guys, here's what you're going to need to set up a tank. You're going to need some sort of substrate, either live substrate or just gravel, some sort of filter. I like sponge filters the most. Some sort of like driftwood or decor, hiding spaces to put in the tank so it makes the shrimp secure. Live plants are recommended. Also guys, a heater wouldn't be something that I would really need in the tank because my house sits around 72 degrees and I live in Florida, which is practically all warm. We don't even have a winter or a fall, but my house doesn't get cold enough to where these shrimp will actually freeze, so a heater wouldn't be too necessary. I do have one in here, but it's something that I would need. What you will need for shrimp breeding and anything of small fry is a sponge filter. The reason why I like sponge filters is they don't actually suck up fish and food like a intake filter would. That can cause a lot of shrimp to get sucked up and you'll lose a lot more shrimp that way. And I think sponge filters are a great way to hold beneficial bacteria inside the sponge. So that's also what I'm going to be using. Also, if you're going to be using a sponge filter, you're going to need an aerator. I have a few. So I have one I got on Amazon that is practically just this one by Pawfly. I really like this brand. So we can get the focus. It is 2-valved. The next things you guys are gonna need, and it doesn't really like matter about the brand. It's just the product itself. Prime stability. We're taking out chlorine water if you're using tap water, which I don't really recommend using that. I'd rather use reverse osmosis water, also known as RODI water, because it is pure, like stripped from any metals, chlorine, any like pretty much anything like harmful, like copper is very harmful to our vertebrates. So that's why I like using Prime. It kind of removes all that. But because I'm using RODI water, I won't be needing this. Something I do like to use is stability. It pretty much adds beneficial bacteria to an already cycled tank that's been here for a year. That is packed full of beneficial bacteria, and it's pretty much a healthy, stable tank. Because this is brand new, it doesn't have any of that. That's why I like to use stability, because it stabilizes your tank. It adds bacteria that all fish and invertebrates, anything really. In saltwater tanks too. I use this for my saltwater tanks. This is a really good product. So it's by Seachem. Both of these are. I really like these two products. Okay guys, so let's pour the substrate inside the tank. So let's get into it. Okay guys, just got the substrate in now. I'm going to see where I should place a sponge filter. I do have a smaller one, but I think bigger sponge filters add more space for beneficial bacteria to grow. So I am going to be using a bigger one. So this tank, I'm going to be doing something simple, but not too simple. Practically just like add a few plants. Probably just gonna add this log and put in here. So a lot of people are like, why can't I keep shrimp alive? And that is really, sometimes it could be your tank parameters, water parameters, temperature, the tank itself not feeding enough. There's 1,000 different reasons why your shrimp aren't surviving. But one of the biggest mistakes a lot of people make is rushing and doing too much. Shrimp are kind of a sensitive creature when going with water parameters, and they can get stressed out pretty quickly if you do too much in your tank. Shrimp are minimal creatures. They don't need that much. If you're constantly adding stuff, taking stuff out, adding food, doing water changes, constantly messing with the tank, you're going to stress them out or kill them. Honestly, just don't touch the tank as much as you want to. Like me, personally, I have that problem. I want to put my hand in the tank. I want to constantly fix every small thing that's in my tank. I can't be doing that. I gotta let my tank be how it is. Like my corals, if I have a frag fall down, or if I have a rock, or there's algae on it over here, I gotta wipe that. I gotta touch this, touch that. That's just, you're just doing too much. You like at that point, I'm just like, was that frag even worth it? Like, is it even worth sticking my hand in there, messing with the tank, trying to grab like a rock, or just reaching in? Like, just sometimes the minimal is the best. And so don't mess with shrimp too much because they need that stable, calm environment to live in. I'm going to give my substrate a little water down just so it stays moist. And then I'll be adding this little log that's right here that I made. And you guys can buy driftwood at stores or Amazon. It doesn't really matter, fish stores. You can find it outside as long as you cook it or boil it to take out a lot of it, like just bad stuff that is on your wood outside because it's not clean. And just pretty much just clean it off, like boil it, or sometimes you like bake it. But I like to boil mine and let it soak in water. Like this log has soaked in water for about a month in a tub, so it took out a lot of tannins. So if you just put wood and you bake it and you put it in your tank, 100%, in about a week, your tank will look like dirty orange water or brown water because wood releases tannins, which is practically just the wood breaking down, and it's going to make your tank look like a big mess. So that's why I like to boil mine, soak it to take out all of the tannins in my wood, so my tanks can be crystal clear and won't have a brownish tint in them. But if you have a giant tank and you can't boil a piece of wood, soak in a tub for about a month or a few weeks, and you'll take out all the tannins out of the wood, and that'll make your tank crystal clear. Okay, guys, so I'm just going to rinse off this sponge filter just because it's brand new. It hasn't been used. Could have dust, small stuff on it, so I'm just going to give this thing a little rinse. So I'll be right back. Okay, it's been rinsed, so I'm going to put it in the tank. And I'm going to start connecting all of airline tubing from the aerator and get this where the filter actually starts working. So I'm gonna go plug that in. Also, what I like about sponge filters is they have bubbles that come out the top. That adds a lot of surface agitation, which adds oxygen to water, which is also something I like about sponge filters. I actually got hooked up, but I'm gonna cut this airline tubing because it is way too long. Okay, so I got all the wiring set up in the tank, so let's get that log out here and put it in here. Okay, so I just add the log, rinse off the substrate, add the filter. The only thing left I need to do is add the water. That's what I'm going to be using. But the bad thing about using RODI water, especially if you're going to do it all top off, or if you are just going to do like a water change, is that it is stripped out of everything, even the good stuff. So when you're using RO water, it practically has no nutrients, practically doesn't have anything in it, like completely nothing. And by doing that, it's pretty much making the tank where it doesn't have anything. But that's what the plants, the live plants, the wood, and the substrate is going to help do, and the stability. So that's practically what it's going to do. But of course, I'm going to let the tank cycle for about 2 weeks or 3 weeks until I feel that it is best to actually put shrimp in the tank. Did I just get lied to? This is a gallon of water. This is a gallon jug. This is a gallon tank. I should have had more water left in here because of all the service area the wood, filter, and substrate took, but yet I'm still missing water. Did they lie to me? To all the science nerds, am I just not doing my math right with the water? But I don't know why I have to put more than a gallon of water in a gallon tank. Doesn't make sense. It looks really bad right now, but it should clear up soon. Okay guys, so it's been about an hour of having the tank set up. It's still murky. For some reason, it's just not clearing up as much as like this tank is. But in a few more hours, it should be crystal clear. So I'm gonna give it a little bit more time. But while it's doing that, I just realized because it's RO water and it has no calcium for shrimp and pretty much anything, I'm gonna be supplementing calcium. Sorry, I use it for my reef tank, so it should be fine. It's at the tank to add calcium because it literally doesn't have pH, anything. That's what the soil is for. It says it's dense in acids and it's supposed to help. It's hard to see reading backwards, but it says micronutrients and like it buffers pH over time, and it says it's for plants and shrimp aquariums, and yeah, it says it's potassium, magnesium, calcium, and iron inside of it. Yeah, so, well then, that was a problem on me because I just read the directions and it says care instructions. Prior to placing into your aquarium, rinse thoroughly with water. Don't use soap, detergent. Periodic substrate vacuuming is ideal to remove waste and debris. I did not rinse the soil. I just remembered I did to this one, but not this one. So, kind of looking like a mud mess. That might be a problem. But it should just clear up. It'll be fine. But yeah, I'm gonna add the stability, and I'm just gonna add the prime just because I don't need it, but just because I'm gonna be adding the prime and the stability. So let's do that. It says stability, you can't really overdose this. It's one of those items where I could probably pour this whole bottle into a 1 gallon tank and it probably wouldn't overdose. But if you want to do what instructions, you can do it, but I'm honestly just going to pour it in because there's no like ideal limit of prime. I'm just going to do a few drops of this. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, guys, so the tank is fully set up, and I'm gonna come back to you guys in 24 hours and see if it clears up better, and hopefully it looks better and not like a disgusting dirt ball mess. And whenever I touch it, it just goes disgusting. So that's what I'm gonna be doing on the way about 24 hours, and hopefully it clears up. All right, guys, this is before 24 hours. Here's what the tank looks like. You can see all the dirt that just sits on there and on the filter stuff. It's just because all the soil has all that dirt. It's practically just dirt balls. That's what it is. It's literally just dirt heated into a ball and then placed into aquarium. You can see though the color difference. This is a lot like dark. This is more of a lightish color. Not sure if it's normal or if it's just over time, but that's just a difference I'm seeing. I did do less substrate on here than I did in this tank. I did about like 1.5 inches at some parts. It's like 2 inches, but I did like thin substrate because I didn't want to use too much. But let's see how much this clears up. Hopefully this light is strong enough. It came with the lid. It's just a small. It's about 5 watts or 6 watts. It's small compared to this like on Amazon. It has like reds and whites and blues, all that stuff. So this is definitely a way better light for growing plants. But I'm gonna fix this log up a little bit. And what's crazy about this is that I got one of these Java ferns. I'm pretty sure that's what this is called. Don't judge me if I'm wrong. But I got one of these Java ferns, and they grow these little small plants with roots. Eventually they pop off, and then like this, I just planted somewhere else. So on this one, you can see the little sprouts. And after you get the sprouts, I just go around and plant them, and they just keep reproducing like that. And you can see my little dwarf crawfish right here. I love him. He doesn't eat my plants, so that's really good. And yeah, this tank's looking really good. And okay, guys, so it's actually been over 5 days I've had this tank set up, and it's absolutely stunning. I am very well pleased with how this tank turned out, and I can't wait to put a new shrimp in this tank. And that's gonna wrap it up for the video, guys. Thank you for watching, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm almost at 250 subscribers. Thank you guys for watching.